Have you ever wondered what truly happens to the human body when we die? What if I told you that scientists have recently uncovered something so astonishing, so extraordinary, that it defies logic and science itself? Imagine witnessing a mysterious, radiant light emanating from a lifeless body, a light so bright that it left everyone in the room speechless. Could this be a sign of something divine, a glimpse of the eternal life promised in the Bible? This revelation isn't just about science. It's about the very essence of our faith, the promises of Jesus Christ, and the mysteries of God's creation. What you're about to discover could transform your understanding of life, death, and the power of God. But beware, this isn't just a story. It's a call to reflect on your spiritual journey and your relationship with God. Before we dive in, I have a quick request. Many of you who watch our videos haven't subscribed to the channel yet. If you believe in the power of faith and want to uncover more incredible truths like this, hit that subscribe button now and turn on notifications. By doing so, you'll never miss our future videos that can strengthen your faith and change your life. Stay with us until the end because what you're about to see could deepen your connection with God in ways you never imagined. When we consider the moment of death, it brings forth a profound sense of mystery. For centuries, humanity has grappled with the question, what truly happens when life leaves the body? Scientists, in their relentless pursuit of knowledge, embarked on an experiment to observe the transition from life to death. Their journey revealed startling phenomena that seemed to challenge both logic and the limits of human understanding. Much like the way the Bible describes the inexplicable glory of God's works, Psalm 19, verse 1, this exploration unveiled moments that left even the most analytical minds in awe. In their quest, these researchers observed an occurrence that defied natural explanation. Just hours into the experiment, an otherworldly glow began to emanate from the body of a young woman lying in a coffin. The light, faint at first, seemed to pulse rhythmically, as if echoing the remnants of a life force that science could not quite define. Such an event inevitably draws parallels with biblical moments of divine revelation, such as the radiant face of Moses after encountering God on Mount Sinai, Exodus 34:29. Was this luminous display a mere coincidence, or could it signify something far deeper, perhaps even spiritual? Many in the scientific community approached the phenomenon with skepticism, attributing it to chemical reactions or post-mortem biological changes. Yet, as the glow intensified, it became clear that no formula or theory could entirely capture its essence. This tension between faith and science is nothing new. The Bible itself often highlights the limits of human wisdom, reminding us in Proverbs 3:5 to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Reflecting on this moment invites a broader discussion about the nature of life and death. Is there more to our existence than the physical body? Consider Jesus Christ's resurrection, an event that reshaped history and continues to inspire faith worldwide. In John 11:25, Jesus declares, "I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live even though they die." Could the glowing body be a subtle nod from the Creator, reminding us of His presence even in death? For the researchers present, the experience was transformative. Some confessed a newfound sense of humility, while others reported feeling inexplicably drawn to the concept of a higher power. It's a testament to the way God can use the ordinary and even the unsettling to reveal His extraordinary nature. As Paul wrote in Romans 1:20, God's invisible qualities are made evident in creation, leaving us without excuse. What's more, this study reignited an age-old debate. Is science capable of fully understanding the mysteries of life and death? Or is there a realm that only faith can navigate? As the luminous glow persisted, some scientists, many of whom had no prior belief in God, found themselves questioning their long-held assumptions. The beauty of this moment lies in its ability to bridge two seemingly opposing worlds, science and spirituality. It reminds us that, like faith itself, some truths transcend logic. For believers, such occurrences may reaffirm the promises of the Bible. The story of Lazarus, whom Jesus raised from the dead, John 11, serves as a powerful reminder that death is not the end. Just as Lazarus's resurrection was a testament to God's glory, so too might this luminous event point to His divine hand at work. It encourages us to look beyond the material and embrace the eternal hope found in Jesus Christ. This mystery also prompts a personal reflection. How do we view death? In moments of uncertainty, prayer becomes our anchor. Turning to God in faith allows us to find peace, even when confronted with the unknown. The scientist's observations challenge us to reflect on our mortality and, more importantly, our spiritual readiness. Are we prepared to meet our Creator? Lastly, this discovery teaches us to embrace curiosity while acknowledging our limitations. God's ways are higher than ours, Isaiah 55:9, and the mysteries of His creation often elude human understanding. Still, these mysteries invite us to trust Him more deeply. The luminous glow observed in that coffin might not provide all the answers, but it does remind us that life is far more intricate and sacred than we often realize. The appearance of light, often symbolic of divine intervention in biblical narratives, took on a literal form in this remarkable experiment. As the scientists monitored the lifeless body, they were astounded to observe a faint, pulsating glow emerging from the coffin. It began as a subtle flicker, like a candle struggling to burn in the wind, but soon transformed into something extraordinary. The pulsation was rhythmic, almost as if it were mimicking a heartbeat. Only this was a body that had already been declared devoid of life. It called to mind the biblical imagery of God as the giver of light and life, as seen in Genesis 1:3. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. The light began to intensify, much like the dawn breaking after a long night. The researchers found themselves caught between awe and confusion, adjusting their instruments to handle the sudden brilliance. Some described the glow as almost warm, radiating a sense of presence that felt unmistakably alive. It was as though the experiment had ventured beyond the confines of physicality into a space where the divine touched the earthly. This luminous event echoes the transfiguration of Jesus in Matthew 17:2, where His face shone like the sun and His clothes became as white as the light. Despite the adjustments, the brightness grew to such an extent that the cameras struggled to capture its full glory. This technical challenge mirrored the spiritual truth that humanity often struggles to comprehend the fullness of God's glory. The Bible describes this challenge in 1 Corinthians 13:12. "For now we see only a reflection as in a mirror, then we shall see face to face." Was this light a glimpse of the eternal, a momentary unveiling of the mysteries of heaven? The researchers debated fervently, with some proposing theories rooted in science. They speculated about potential chemical reactions in the body or electrical impulses that might explain the phenomenon. Others, however, admitted that this was unlike anything they had encountered before. Even among those skeptical of spiritual interpretations, there was a silent acknowledgement of the possibility that this light was something beyond the scope of human understanding. It mirrored the humility required of Job when God reminded him of the limits of human knowledge. Job 38:4. "Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation?" For believers, the light's appearance was a potent reminder of Jesus Christ's promise to be the light of the world. John 8:12 declares, "I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." Could this radiance be a symbolic manifestation of that truth? The imagery of light cutting through darkness has always served as a powerful representation of hope, grace, and God's unyielding presence. The spiritual implications of this event were not lost on the scientists. Some found themselves whispering prayers, an instinctive reaction to the sense of wonder and reverence the light inspired. It was as if the brightness carried with it an invitation, a call to reflect on one's relationship with God. Much like the shepherds in Luke 2:9 who were struck with fear and awe when the angel of the Lord appeared, these individuals were witnesses to something sacred and transformative. The brightness, although awe-inspiring, was also fleeting. Just as quickly as it had intensified, the light began to fade, leaving behind a profound silence in the room. This reminded one of the fleeting nature of such divine encounters, much like the burning bush experienced by Moses in Exodus 3:2. God reveals himself in ways that stir the soul, but often leaves room for faith to fill the gaps of understanding. This occurrence also brought to mind the resurrection light described in the Bible. Could it be a foretaste of the light that surrounds the throne of God, as depicted in Revelation 21:23? The experiment provided a glimpse of something so holy and otherworldly that it left an indelible mark on all who were present. It was more than an experiment, it became a spiritual journey. The scientists were forced to confront the implications of this mysterious light. Was it merely an anomaly, or did it serve a purpose greater than human comprehension? Like the light described in Psalm 119:105, which serves as a lamp to our feet and a light to our path, this glow seemed to guide those present toward deeper introspection and perhaps even faith. This episode serves as a reminder of God's omnipresence and the ways in which He reveals Himself even in unexpected circumstances. It is a challenge to see beyond the ordinary and embrace the divine possibilities in life's mysteries. Just as this light drew the attention of the scientists, God's light seeks to draw us closer to Him, illuminating the darkness of doubt and fear. The tension between science and spirituality is an age-old debate, and this experiment reignited that discussion with renewed fervor. As the mysterious light emanated from the lifeless body, scientists scrambled to make sense of what they had witnessed. For some, the answer seemed simple, a result of post-mortem chemical reactions or unexplored natural phenomena. Yet, for others, the intensity and timing of the event suggested something far beyond the reach of biology or physics. This divide mirrored the biblical narrative in 1 Corinthians 1:25, which states, "The foolishness of God is wiser than human wisdom, and the weakness of God is stronger than human strength." The skeptics within the research team focused on tangible explanations. They proposed that perhaps the body had undergone some form of rare biochemical process, releasing energy in the form of light. To them, every mystery must have a natural cause. Yet their theories were met with challenges. Why, they were asked, had this phenomenon never been documented before? The perplexity in their responses echoed the story of Nicodemus in John 3:9, who, upon hearing Jesus speak of being born again, asked in confusion, "How can this be?" On the other hand, a growing number of participants saw this as evidence of something spiritual, a manifestation of the divine that science could neither predict nor explain. These individuals, many of whom had previously identified as secular, admitted feeling humbled in the face of the inexplicable. For them, the light served as a reminder of Ecclesiastes 3:11. He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the human heart, yet no one can fathom what God has done from beginning to end. The room became a stage for debate, with opposing viewpoints clashing like waves against a rocky shore. Some argued that faith and science were irreconcilable, while others posited that they were two sides of the same coin. They discussed whether science could ever fully grasp the mysteries of life, death, and the divine. This echoed the story of Job, where God asks, "Can you fathom the mysteries of God? Can you probe the limits of the Almighty?" Job 11:7. The experiment had forced each participant to confront these profound questions head-on. Amid the discussions, a thought-provoking realization emerged. Science often seeks to explain the how, while spirituality seeks to understand the why. The mysterious light challenged both. It was as if God Himself was inviting the scientists to bridge the gap, reminding them that truth is not confined to the material world. This interplay is reflected in Colossians 1:16, which declares, "For in Him all things were created, things in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible." As the debate continued, emotions ran high. Some scientists were visibly shaken, not by fear, but by the sheer weight of what they had encountered. A few admitted that the experience had reignited their faith or prompted them to seek answers in the Bible. This shift was reminiscent of the Apostle Paul's transformation in Acts 9:3-6, where a divine light on the road to Damascus changed the course of his life forever. The experiment, though intended as a scientific endeavor, had become a spiritual reckoning. The researchers who leaned toward a spiritual interpretation shared stories of how this event reminded them of biblical miracles, such as the pillar of fire that guided the Israelites through the desert, Exodus 13:21. They argued that just as those events were signs of God's presence, so too could this light be a modern-day testament to His glory. Their words resonated with the promise of Jesus in Matthew 28:20, "And surely I am with you always, to the very end of the age." The debate also raised practical questions. How should humanity respond to such mysteries? Should they be dismissed as anomalies, or should they inspire a deeper exploration of faith and purpose? For the spiritually inclined participants, the answer was clear. They believed this was an opportunity to draw closer to God, to seek His wisdom, and to trust in His divine plan. The Bible advises in Proverbs 9:10, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding." Interestingly, even the most skeptical voices in the room admitted that this event had touched them in unexpected ways. Though unwilling to attribute the light to God, they acknowledged the profound emotional and spiritual impact it had on the group. Their reluctance to dismiss the event entirely mirrored the hesitation of Thomas, who doubted Jesus' resurrection until he saw and touched the wounds himself, John 20:24-29. In the end, the debate highlighted a universal truth. Both science and faith strive to uncover the mysteries of existence, albeit through different lenses. This experiment, with its unexplainable light, reminded everyone present of the humility required to navigate such profound questions. Whether viewed as a scientific anomaly or a spiritual sign, the light served as a beacon, calling all who witnessed it to seek deeper understanding and connection with the Creator. When the pulsating light faded into darkness, it left more than just questions. It left an imprint on the hearts of all who witnessed it. For the scientists present, the moment was as humbling as it was extraordinary. The sudden absence of the glow seemed to mirror the fragility of human life itself, a fleeting and precious gift from God. It reminded them of the words in James 4:14, "What is your life? You are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes." The disappearance of the light was not merely an end, it was a prompt for deep introspection. For the parents of the young woman, the light held a profoundly personal significance. They had come to the experiment seeking closure, but left with something far greater, an unshakable belief that their daughter's spirit was not lost, but transcendent. They felt a renewed connection to God's promises, particularly those in Revelation 21:4, which assures, "He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things has passed away. The light became for them a reminder of the eternal hope found in Jesus Christ. The scientists, though trained to rely on logic and reason, found themselves grappling with emotions they could not quantify. Some admitted feeling a sense of peace, as though the light carried with it a message of comfort and reassurance. Others described an inexplicable longing, a desire to understand not just the phenomenon, but their place in the grand design of existence. It was as if the fading light had spoken to them in a language of the soul, much like the way the Holy Spirit intercedes for us in Romans 8:26. The Spirit Himself intercedes for us through wordless groans. The room was filled with a palpable sense of reverence as the light dimmed. For some, it felt like a farewell. For others, it was a gentle nudge toward faith. The emotional weight of the moment lingered long after the glow had vanished, much like the lingering awe described in Luke 24:32, where the disciples said, "Were not our hearts burning within us while He talked with us on the road and opened the Scriptures to us?" This shared experience bonded the participants in ways they hadn't anticipated, uniting them in a collective journey of reflection. For the parents, the light's disappearance was bittersweet. While it marked the end of the physical manifestation, it solidified their conviction that their daughter's spirit was in God's care. They found solace in Psalm 34:18, which says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." They left the room with hearts heavy, yet hopeful, their faith fortified by what they had witnessed. The emotional impact extended beyond the immediate participants. News of the experiment began to circulate, sparking conversations about the intersection of science and spirituality. Many who heard the story found themselves moved to reflect on their own lives and beliefs. It was a ripple effect, much like the way a single act of faith can inspire countless others, as seen in the story of the woman at the well in John 4:39, where many believed because of her testimony. The fading light also served as a metaphor for life's fleeting nature. It prompted the scientists to question their own priorities and purpose. They began to see their work not just as a pursuit of knowledge, but as a means to understand the Creator's handiwork. The experience became a living example of Proverbs 16:9. In their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. The emotional impact was not just an outcome of the experiment, it was an invitation to embrace the unknown with humility and faith. For believers, the event reaffirmed the power of God's presence in the most unexpected places. It reminded them that even in moments of loss and uncertainty, God's light continues to guide and comfort. The parents of the young woman felt this truth deeply, likening the fading glow to the promise of resurrection. They recalled Jesus' words in John 14:2-3, "My Father's house has many rooms. If that were not so, would I have told you that I am going there to prepare a place for you?" As the participants reflected on the event and the days that followed, they found themselves drawn to prayer and contemplation. Even the most skeptical among them admitted that the experience had touched something deeper than intellect. It was a reminder that faith is not about having all the answers, but about trusting in the one who does. This realization brought to mind the words of Isaiah 26:3. "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you." In the end, the disappearance of the light was not a loss, but a gift, a moment of profound emotional and spiritual awakening. It left an indelible mark on everyone involved, challenging them to see beyond the physical and embrace the divine mysteries that surround us. And with that, the stage was set for the final reflection, a biblical and spiritual exploration of what it all might mean. The mysterious light captured during the experiment became a profound source of reflection for everyone who witnessed it. To some, it was a scientific anomaly. To others, it was an unmistakable sign of the divine. As the participants grappled with its significance, they began to draw parallels between the event and the resurrection narratives in the Bible. The light was not merely a phenomenon, but a symbolic representation of the hope and transcendence promised by God through Jesus Christ. This connection is beautifully encapsulated in John 11:25-26, where Jesus says, "I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live, even though they die." The experiment had initially aimed to uncover the physical realities of death, yet it inadvertently invited everyone involved to explore its spiritual dimensions. The light served as a reminder of the promise of eternal life, much like the empty tomb on the morning of Jesus' resurrection. In Matthew 28:6, the angel proclaims, "He is not here. He has risen, just as he said." This phenomenon, while unexplained, seemed to echo that divine assurance, urging those present to reconsider their understanding of life, death, and what lies beyond. For believers, the light became a tangible expression of God's presence. It reinforced the biblical truth found in Psalm 27, verse 1, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear?" The comparison to resurrection not only brought comfort to the grieving parents, but also inspired a renewed faith in the scientists who had been skeptical of spiritual matters. In many ways, the light acted as a bridge between science and faith, demonstrating that the two need not be at odds, but can work together to reveal the glory of God's creation. The Bible often uses light as a metaphor for God's presence and guidance. From the pillar of fire that led the Israelites through the wilderness, Exodus 13:21, to the radiant glory of Jesus during the Transfiguration, Matthew 17:2, light is consistently portrayed as a manifestation of God's power and love. The glow observed during the experiment seemed to align with this divine pattern, offering not only a sense of wonder, but also a profound sense of peace to those who witnessed it. This event also raised questions about the nature of existence itself. The light's sudden appearance and disappearance seemed to hint at the transient nature of life on earth and the eternal nature of the soul. The participants were reminded of Ecclesiastes 3:11. "He has made everything beautiful in its time." He has also set eternity in the human heart, yet no one can fathom what God has done from beginning to end. The light, fleeting yet unforgettable, became a symbol of the eternal truths that God has placed within every human heart. For the parents of the young woman, the phenomenon was deeply personal. It reinforced their belief that their daughter was not truly gone, but had been received into God's eternal kingdom. This belief finds its foundation in 1 Thessalonians 4:14. "For we believe that Jesus died and rose again, and so we believe that God will bring with Jesus those who have fallen asleep in him." The light became a beacon of hope, reminding them that death is not an end, but a transition to a new and glorious beginning. The scientists, too, were profoundly affected by the event. Some admitted that it had challenged their previously held beliefs, opening their hearts to the possibility of a creator. This echoes the transformative power of divine encounters found throughout the Bible, such as Paul's experience on the road to Damascus, Acts 9:3-6. Just as Paul was blinded by the heavenly light and changed forever, these scientists were touched by something they could not explain, and their lives were never the same. As news of the event spread, it sparked conversations about faith, science, and the mysteries of existence. The light became a symbol not only of God's power, but also of his desire to reveal himself to humanity in ways that transcend understanding. This aligns with Romans 1:20, which declares, "For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made." The phenomenon also served as a call to reflection for all who heard about it. It invited believers to deepen their faith and encouraged skeptics to seek answers beyond the material world. For many, it became a reminder of Jesus' promise in Matthew 5:14-16. "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." In the end, the light was not just an event, but a revelation. It pointed to the transcendent truths of the Bible and the eternal hope found in Jesus Christ. For those who witnessed it, and even for those who only heard about it, the light became a reminder that God's presence is all around us, calling us to live in faith, love, and the promise of resurrection. Now that you've seen the incredible discovery scientists made about what happens when we die, I want to hear from you. How did this revelation impact your faith? Do you believe this mysterious light is a sign from God, a glimpse of His eternal promise? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. I'd love to read them and continue this conversation with you. If you found this video inspiring, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. By doing so, you'll ensure you never miss another transformative message about faith, the Bible, and the wonders of God's creation. And while you're here, make sure to check out the next video on your screen now. It dives even deeper into God's mysteries and will leave you filled with hope and wonder. I'm Michael, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay blessed.